Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the case may be. Welcome to Cross Examinations. Today, Treason, attempt at a bloodless coup. Now, you may be thinking that I'm talking about the democratic machine and the mainstream media, George Soros and all of their acolytes trying with ruthless, relentless intent to destroy Donald J. Trump in his presidency. But I'm actually talking about Absalom and David in the Bible. So, okay, 20 people watching now. Hello, everybody. Hello. Evan Bonschreiber. Ranger, Andrew, Nasser, what's up, guys? X-Gal, what's up, Gal? Mike, P-Money, Devereaux, Antonio, Pronesti, Desiccant, Cubsadon. Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming in. As I always ask as people do trickle in, please do hit that like button. Hit that share button. Send this out to the wider world of social media. To all 12 of your followers, let them know that we are here. Are we talking politics? Maybe. Lifeline. Lifeline's... Oh. It stopped ringing. But yeah. So let's smash that like button. There's only 10 likes in here. Come on now. Gotta get more than that. What's up, Hugh? McMonge, what's up? Welcome everybody. Welcome, one and all. 24 in here now. Jay Hamilton popping in. How many people getting their notifications? Darth Guyver, teach me to draw. Well, yeah. You know why I stopped doing drawing lessons? Because my webcam tablet. I guess I could do it on that computer. But, oh, man, I'm just so busy. It's like I haven't had time to just sit down and bust some more of those out. So, yay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jay Hamilton puts a hand up. Oh. You know where this came from? Some say, because I haven't researched the absolute truth of this, but giants had 6 fingers, and giants were, although I don't know why they would hold up. I don't know. I heard a thing where they would hold up their hands to show that they only had 5 fingers. But I don't know how much weight I put into that. It's just an interesting thing. Like, you're not just saying, hey. Good morning. All right, 36 watching now. Let's get into the commentary from yesterday's smash success show, Star Wars in Scripture, from episode 109. Oh, I had 7 comments. Okay, let's bring this over here. Nathan Rosario says, I think the whole light side versus dark side aspect of Star Wars really started getting diluted in the prequels, which were 100% George Lucas. Remember all of the cringy parallels to George W. Bush and the Iraq War in episode 3? In fact, the prequels left such a bad taste in my mouth that I actually enjoyed The Force Awakens the first couple times I watched it. Also, the prequels ruined Darth Vader far more than The Last Jedi ruined Luke Skywalker. Nathan, you're singing my tune, bruh. I've been a Star Wars fan since I got my first action figure in 1978 when I was 5 years old. Yeah, I was a little bit older. But I really only considered the original trilogy to be true Star Wars. Anything released after 1983 I don't consider to be part of canon. I guess I'm also one of the few Star Wars fans who still honors A New Hope to be the best Star Wars movie and possibly one of the greatest films ever made. Empire Strikes Back gets the honor of being the greatest sequel ever made, and it's easy to make a good film when you don't need to set anything up or resolve any storylines. Finally, Return of the Jedi is the greatest toy commercial ever made. I look forward to more Star Wars content from you, just maybe not on cross-examinations next time. Well, it felt like I was confirmed to do it when I had been thinking about it, and the scripture that I read was specifically about light and darkness. But yeah, I'm not going to populate cross-examinations with Star Wars. Yeah, so I'm not even gonna delve into that. I'm in agreement with about most of what you're saying, though. Trusty Sidekick. During one of our Sunday morning worship programs for the kids in our church, we did a "Is it from the Bible or Star Wars" quiz. We had a lot of fun with some of the places and names. And when we got to Endor, of course, we explained that it is both. That taught the kids about the Witch of Endor from 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel? I'll be in 2 Samuel today. We need to do that again. And I do believe Anakin is actually a name from the Bible. Oh no, Anakim. Anakim. They were Nephilim. They were giants. Now let me get back to where I was. Withheld, rather not say. Oh wait, there were replies to Nathan's. Oh, I just asked if there's already too many Star Wars channels. He says you wouldn't have to become a full-fledged Star Wars channel. We don't need to talk about that. All right. Withheld, rather not say. Mike, I don't think I can word this correctly, but if you ask me, moral equivalency is just a form of sophistry. Like, for example, someone says, well, maybe ISIS needed to butcher those Christians to help their families. Or, well, maybe they had to behead people. I know I'm probably strawmanning, but you get the picture. Sorry that I'm not coherent right now. As of hell, this writing, I'm pretty exhausted. As of hell, this writing. As of hell, this. Okay. It was coherent up until the very last part after you said, sorry, I'm not coherent. Levi Paladin says, you are right. There is no balancing good and corruption. Good without evil is perfection. Evil without good is annihilation. That is correct. Correct. You are correct in saying that I am correct. So thank you for correcting my correction. No, that's not right. All right. Let's see. Close out all these windows here. Let us see. Let's try not to drag this all the way down into a Star Wars chat. Why is this not popping out as its own window anymore? It's driving me nuts. Comic Art just Pro Secret says, oh, hell yeah. What's up, Ethan Vince Gaver? Notified. Why did I tune in to Mike looking at his hand? How? George Bush is evil? Well, I wouldn't go that far. I'm not a fan, but I was at a time until he turned into a socialist. Rogue One was a good movie. Yes, it was. Showing one's hand in most forms are just to show that you are not hiding or holding anything to counter or attack with. Fair. YouTube gave me a notification at a reasonable time. Yay! General Devereaux says, hey, Mike, Star Wars and Scripture should be its own show. Maybe. I will think and pray on it. Question, what does the Bible say about dealing with cable companies and waiting for their technicians? Dragon, I believe the Bible in 1 Timothy says, thou shalt cancel thine cable and just watch things on the YouTubes. Don't quote me on that. I may be paraphrasing. Darth Guyver, Rogue One, the only good Disney Star Wars film. P Money I still say, yeah, Rogue One is really just a great prologue to A New Hope. You could just think of that as one 3.5 hour long movie. I still say Knights of the Old Republic is the best Star Wars, and man, I gotta stop this and get back to Bible reading here. Yeah, like I said, I really hope the Benioff and Weiss movies are Old Republic stuff, because I mean, you could go full Game of Thrones with that era, right? It would be sick. Except instead of Valerian steel, you have, oh, no batteries in this one. Batteries in this one. No Valerian steel. All right. I gotta change the batteries in those things. Many Star Wars names sound Arabic. Luke is a biblical name. That is true. That is absolutely true. Yeah. Mike, doing a Star Wars stream once in a while is fine. I appreciate both Star Wars and biblical perspectives. Yeah, there's so many Star Wars channels though. So the Clone War is a much more interesting conflict than the Galactic Civil War. You know what? I don't want to get all delved into a Star Wars thing. Hey, Mike. Okay, hi, Ethan. Read Ezekiel 23:20. I will. Ezekiel 23. Why is Ethan making me afraid to even read the Bible? 23:20. Why don't I start with 23:17? And the Babylonians came to her into the bed of love, and they defiled her with their whoredom. And she was polluted with them, and her mind was alienated from them. So she discovered her whoredoms and discovered her nakedness. Then my mind was alienated from her, like as my mind was alienated from her sister. Yet she multiplied her whoredoms, in calling to remembrance the days of her youth, wherein she played the harlot in the land of Egypt. For she doted upon their paramours, whose flesh is as the flesh of asses, and whose issue is like the issue of horses. Thus thou callest to remembrance the lewdness of thy youth, in bruising thy teats by the Egyptians for the paps of thy youth. I can always count on Ethan. All right. Let me go back. Just reading. Gonzo says, just finished reading my copy of Lone Star. Exceptional. It was by far the best Comicscape book I have backed so far. Sorry, Malin. Especially enjoyed the prayer in the truck. Right on. Eric is going to need a cross-reference on the 2 Timothy. Yeah, I don't. Sorry. Yeah. Patience is one of the fruit of the Spirit. What coup? What coup? The attempt at a bloodless coup. Have you not been paying attention? Rogue One was brilliant purely for the last 5 minutes. Rogue One breaks the beginning of A New Hope. Don't quite get that. Could Valerian steel clang with a lightsaber? That's a very good question. It is a very good question. Because I believe Valerian steel, I'm wearing a Game of Thrones shirt, by the way. I believe Valerian steel isn't just dragon forged, it is spell forged as well. So it's within the realm of possibility that because there is some magic involved, it could withstand the magic of a force-wielding kyber crystal powered lightsaber? I'm going to say yes, just for the sake of whatever. The Righteous Man. Song of Solomon 8:8. Nasser, no. EBS, like me, is a kid in church. Yeah, I've heard Ethan's stories about him being a kid in church, and I think he's trying to relive his youth here. I can hear him cackling in the back of my head. P Money says, Father, forgive Nasser and Ethan, it's my daughter. They know not what they do. Actually, they know what they are doing. Forgive them anyway. Rizakai says, how many bloodless coups took place in Scripture? My biblical knowledge of coups is small. Well, the one that came to mind was Absalom and David. And so that's why we are going to be reading 2 Samuel 15 today. No. Ethan does cackle. Ethan cackles and he giggles. There's two different laughs that come from Ethan. Deuteronomy 23:1. 23:20. Oh no, that was Ezekiel. Why? All right, you know what? It's the Bible. The Bible says that the word shall never come back void. So me reading these passages that you are insisting on, Deuteronomy, will not come back void. It is a promise of God. 23. Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 1. He that is wounded in the stones, or hath his privy member cut off, shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Woo! A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord. An Ammonite or a Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry, I don't mean to blobbity blob the Bible, but and his balls might, yeah. And Nasser wants me to read Song of Solomon 8:8. Song of Solomon it's a spicy meatball, I tell you what. You know, in Orthodox churches, or Orthodox, I would assume not all Orthodox, but you have to be over 13 to read Song of Solomon, because it's like word porn in the Bible. Believe it. We have a little sister, and she hath no breasts. What shall we do for our sister in the day when she shall be spoken for? Nasser, what? Why? I am a wall, and my breasts like towers. Then was I in his eyes as one that found favor. Yeah, Song of Solomon, like, oh no. Song of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 1. It's in the Bible. Oh, thou that wert as my brother, that sucked the breasts of my mother. When I should find thee without, I would kiss thee, yea, I should not be despised. His left hand should be under my head, and his right hand should embrace me. I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, that ye stir not up nor awake my love until he please. All right, I'm not going to keep doing that. All right. Zordcraft Online says, the universe needs a whole lot of blacklist wisdom. Nasser says, this is gay. If gay means happy, then color me ecstatic. They're intentionally trolling you, Mike. Decide on the tone of cross-examinations. Hey, it's the Bible. It's biblical erotica. Never even heard Song of Solomon. Really? Yeah, it's right after Ecclesiastes, right before the prophets, right before Isaiah. So get in there, man. Read yourself some Solomon. Wisest man ever. And Ethan is right. There's nothing wrong with anything in the Bible. Just don't take things out of context for your own pleasure. Biblical erotica, said no one ever. All right, speaking of the Bible, and since you did bring up Samuel, let's go to 2 Samuel, a chapter of 15. Share. 2 Samuel chapter 15. And it came to pass after this that Absalom prepared him chariots and horses and 50 men to run before him. And Absalom was David's, I believe, third son, rose up early and stood beside the way of the gate. And it was so that when any man that had a controversy came to the king for judgment, then Absalom called unto him and said, Of what city art thou? And he said, Thy servant is of one of the tribes of Israel. And Absalom said to him, Thy matters are good and right, but there is no man deputed of the king to hear thee. He was sowing discord between the people and the king, as if the king didn't have time for all the people. And also, for those who don't know who Absalom is the brother that raped his sister and then refused to marry her because he lusted after her and then raped her, and then his brothers all hated him for it. Anyways, Absalom said, moreover, Oh, that I were made judge in the land, that every man which hath any suit or cause might come unto me, and I would do him justice. And it was so that when any man came nigh unto him to do him obeisance, that he put forth his hand and took him and kissed him. Not like that. And on this manner did Absalom to all Israel that came to the king for judgment. So Absalom stole the hearts of the men of Israel. And it came to pass after 40 years that Absalom said unto the king, I pray thee, let me go and pay my vow, which I have vowed unto the Lord in Hebron. For thy servant vowed a vow while I abode at Jeshur in Syria, for saying, If the Lord shall bring me again indeed to Jerusalem, then I will serve the Lord. And the king, David, said unto him, Go in peace. So he arose and went to Hebron. But Absalom sent spies throughout all the tribes of Israel, saying, As soon as ye hear the sound of the trumpet, then ye shall say, Absalom reigneth in Hebron. And with Absalom went 200 men out of Jerusalem that were called, and they went in their simplicity, and they knew not anything. And Absalom sent for Ahithophel, the Gilonite, David's counselor, from his city, even from Gilo, while he offered sacrifices. And the conspiracy was strong. The conspiracy was strong, for the people increased continually with Absalom, thanks to the mainstream media. And there came a messenger to David, saying, The hearts of the men of Israel are after Absalom. And David said unto all his servants that were with him at Jerusalem, Arise, and let us flee. Keep in mind, this was his son. He didn't want a war with his son. For we shall not else escape from Absalom. Make speed to depart, lest he overtake us suddenly, and bring evil upon us, and smite the city with the edge of the sword. So David actually had the people and the city at heart and mind. And plus, he did not want to go to war with his son, starting a civil war. So this was, that came to mind, the first attempt at a bloodless coup in the Bible, in the lineage of the kings. Very refreshing to see you using King James Version. I always use the King James Version, brother. That's my thing. Oh, by the way, if you're new here, please do like, subscribe, share. And right now, share this out. Let's get some more people in here watching so we can build up this fellowship. Fellowship of the cross-examinators. Cross-examiners. Cross-examiners. So, why am I talking about bloodless coups? And I don't want to just dive this all about politics. I do want to correlate this with the Bible, but it's what has happened in the last 2 years in this country has been an attempt at a bloodless coup, except for a coup is supposed to be like an immediate thing. But they have been trying to overthrow our government, the Democrats and the mainstream media and the deep state have been colluding to overthrow our president for 2 years. And they've been calling him, gosh, I was going to use this clip. There's a clip on one of the shows. It was just like all the people saying, you know, collusion, collusion, treason, treason, collusion, treason, treason. They were trying, you know what the penalty for treason is in this country, right? It's death. It's a corporal crime. They were trying to get our president executed for treason. That, okay, technically that would not be a bloodless coup, but that they've been trying. This is treason. What they have been doing for 2 years, not all of them, because not all of them knew that it was all based on lies, but those who knew that it was lies, those who went on air and lied and said they absolutely saw collusion, blah, 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 that's treason. This has been a coup. Yeah, and it's so funny because honestly, they've set themselves up for a self-fulfilling prophecy because all these, you know, they're always going on and on about how Trump is a dictator and how, you know, he wants to silence his political opponents and all this stuff. And in all honesty, I mean, get Nick Ricada on this to be sure, but I'm fairly certain they all just gave Trump legal justification to arrest the lot of them for treason. Because they have all, not just treason, but what's that? Conspiracy to commit a crime. RICO. They could nail pretty much everyone at CNN, MSNBC, the entire Democrat leadership, a lot of the heads of the FBI could all be drawn up on RICO and treason. And sedition. That's right, OP Dog, and sedition. They could all go to jail for the rest of their lives or be executed, probably by the letter of the law. And Trump would have absolute dominance over the media because of their own idiocy, their own relentless desire to see this man dragged down the street, you know, by his ankles. Dennis Pooch says George Washington did it best to traitors. Yeah. He's got... It's crazy. I really hope... It's weird. I hope and I don't hope. Because I'd hate to see what that actually led to. But boy, these people do have to be called into account, don't they? And to bring it back to the Bible, I could skip forward to let you know what happens to Absalom, but it doesn't end well for Absalom. It does. David anoints Solomon his successor, and that enters, gosh, if I remember correctly, because it's been a while since I read the entire book, I believe that enters the nation into the civil war. Absalom is hunted down. was it him who had his head? I believe he had his head stuck in a tree, and then another, one of Solomon's men or one of David's men killed him while he was in the tree. And of course, Solomon grieved because it was his son. But then they're all like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? You can't. This guy was trying to kill you. This guy was trying to take over your thing." And so yeah, bringing it back to the Bible, treason doesn't end well. There will be recompense for this. Yeah, his hair was stuck in a tree and he got beheaded. Thank you, Darth Guyver. He got it. He got it. Yeah, but it was by one of, was it one of David's men and Solomon's men, I guess, would be the same people at that point. Yeah, treason is not going to go unpunished. Can you imagine if it did? If he just let this all slide and just, you know, see, I was right. It's not enough that you were right, President Trump. This was an attempt at a coup. They would have had you hanging from a petard. David was pissed. David was pissed. Yes. Yes. Treason or tree, son. Zeno says CNN and MSDNC are rapidly hemorrhaging viewers because their channels promoted Trump conspiracy nonstop with no alternative viewpoints. That's right. That's right. CNN dropped 50%. Their viewership dropped 50% overnight when the Mueller report came out. You know what's the funny thing? I actually named Lone Star Robert Mueller before I knew who Robert Mueller was, because I wanted to name him after my grandfather, Robert Miller, but I didn't want to be so on the nose with Miller, so I was using a German spelling, which was Mueller. And then when this whole thing started, Edwin was reading it, and he's like, "Are you sure you want to use Robert Mueller?" And I'm like, "Oh." It's like, but now I kind of want to change it back to Robert Mueller. Oh, well. Yeah, CNN viewership is pretty much just airport TVs these days. It's true. It's true. Zeno the Stoic says, remember McCain spent his last years on Earth trying to help Democrats take down Trump. Yeah. And you know what? When McCain died, I didn't say a word. I didn't offer condolences. And maybe I'm just bitter. But that guy was a mother freaking douchebag. And I wasn't gonna disparage him right after he died, but it didn't change who he was because he died. He was still the same D-bag he was then. And now, in the past few days, we recognize that he should have been drawn up as a traitor and shot before the Lincoln Memorial. He shouldn't have died from cancer. He should have died at the end of a rope. Ooh, that's kind of brutal, huh? Have we discussed Alyssa Milano yet? No, I don't want to discuss Alyssa Milano. McCain was a loser. I voted for that D-bag. Oh, Wonder Girl. Wonder Girl. Don't know how they kept getting reelected. Everyone I know here in Arizona hated him. Oh, I'm sure that was all shenanigans. Shenanigans. It's a hot take, geez. I know. It's just that, I mean, he was clearly a traitor. He was a traitor. He was a key conspirator in an attempted coup because he hated Trump, because he was a bitter, jealous old man who failed. Yeah, oh, that's right. I voted for that idiot too. For president. Ah, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that he never became president. At this point, I mean, as big of a D-bag as Obama is, at least he's no, I don't know. Gosh, what would have been worse? I think McCain might have actually been worse than Obama, because McCain was a Democrat in sheep's clothing, and he could have gotten the Republicans behind moving all of our policies. He would have done a better job moving the country to the left than Obama could, because Obama had Republican opposition. Right? So actually, yeah, I think it was better for the country that Obama got elected. 2 words, Hanoi Hilton. Yeah, they should have kept him. Jay Hamilton. Well, McCain did kill over 100 of his own men. Fair enough. I hated him too. He was a joke in the debates with Obama. Oh yeah. He wouldn't disparage Obama. I think he was, you know what he was? He was like one of these liberals. Remember we did the Yale thing on how liberals are racist because they talk down, they have to dump, they think that minorities are stupid. That's how McCain was treating Obama. Right? Kid gloves, you know, hey, let's just give him a little hand up. You know, he's going to need some help to defeat me. Rotten to the core, so rotten it turned cancerous. I know, right? The only good thing about Obama was that he's black, and the first black president thing has been done now. Dragon, I know, but I feel like that may have tainted the whole black president thing. Because can you imagine if someone like Thomas Sowell, can you imagine Thomas Sowell as president? That would be so great. But yeah, I mean, I really just wish a conservative had been the first black president. I really do. Just a great conservative thinker as the first black president would have really given the whole idea of the black president a much higher note, right? Because now it's like, well, we tried that already. Look how that ended up. No, I hope people don't think like that. Ben Carson. I love Ben Carson. I do love Ben Carson, and I was absolutely for Ben Carson. But boy, did we not need Donald Trump at this point in history right now, right? I don't think Ben Carson could have dealt quite as well with the slings and arrows of this insanity that they have the deep state Democratic mainstream media alliance has forged. Yeah. Zeno says they tell groups of people they all have to think the same way, then they turn around and say everyone who disagrees with these people is racist. It's true. I'm a Sowell man. I love Thomas Sowell, man. I don't know. I don't think he'd ever run for politics, but man, yeah, he would be such a great leader in that. It's a shame that many Americans don't know Sowell. I know. They don't know Sowell. They don't know Friedman. Hell, they don't know Adam Smith. Hell, they don't know George Washington. They don't know nothing. Let's see. Ezekiel 23:28. Yeah, I don't want to talk about Jussie Smollett either. Brother. Talk about a 2-tier justice system. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Who is Absalom in this picture? Right? It's either Obama or it's Hillary. And honestly, Obama doesn't have the hair to get stuck in a tree, but I would like to see either of those or both of them actually drawn up before a court and rigorously questioned, because you can't be the head of the snake and get away with this kind of crap, right? Liam says it's true. Trump is divine intervention on many levels. I do agree. Hashtag walkaway is real. The left is hemorrhaging LGBTs, women, and ethnic minorities in unprecedented numbers. Yeah, I really want to see polling before and after the Mueller report proved to everyone in the country who isn't just completely drunk on the Kool-Aid that, again, the deep state is real. The Democratic Party, the deep state, and the mainstream media have been in collusion to coup this president. Coup that's not right. to eject this president from his lawfully acquired position. I don't know how to say that. But I tell you what, I'm glad I have this Leftist Tears hot or cold tumbler, because it is filled with Leftist Tears today. Filled to the brim and spilling over. And they're delicious. Schadenfreude, you say. Freudenscheid. Schadenfreude. Freudenscheid. Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude. Usurp the president. Thank you, OP Dog. That is the word I was looking for. Usurp. Yeah, the deep state is very real. It's so funny that there's, oh, it's just a conspiracy. It's just a conspiracy. We had the heads of the FBI lying to the American people on TV, on record. It's like these people don't realize that we have tapes of everything for the past 2 years. Chris Evans, tears. Not Chris Evans from our community, but Chris Evans from, the Captain America who is no longer Captain America in anyone's eyes. We have 2 years of evidence. 2 years of evidence of these people lying to us, lying to everyone in an attempt to get this, not only to get Trump out of power, but the lie. Remember the lies before that allowed Hillary to stay out of prison. Hillary Clinton should be in prison right now. Right? This all has to go back. This all has to go back. All of this has to be reinvestigated. Clinton, most likely Obama, Pelosi, pretty much the entirety of the Democratic leadership needs to be in jail. Legally. This was collusion. Yeah. And they colluded with the Russian government. That's the funniest part. The Steele dossier. They colluded with the Russian government to alter an election. They are guilty of what they've been accusing Trump of this entire time. Bruno is saying, our father. Dragon brings up Mike. Bloodless Coup. Jacob's stealing of Esau's birthright. Yeah. I guess you could say that. That wasn't... Except Esau was never in power, but it was a theft of the birthright, and it did alter the course of history. David says, the conclusion of the Mueller report was more a relief than anything. A part of me hopes Trump can get back to running the country now, but I know they're going to start something else soon. Yeah, they'll never give up. They'll never give up, which is why they need to be removed from power. I have to ask, not a Mueller fan, but does this mean Mueller might actually be honest? It very well might. All the presidents that I have lived under should be in jail right now. Both Bushes, the Clintons, and Obama. Bruno is trying to steer us back to the Bible. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. You missed thy kingdom come, Bruno. On earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. Yeah. Any other examples of bloodless coups in the Bible? There's bloody coups. I don't know. Let me see. I'm gonna keep reading down this. And the king's servants said unto the king, behold, thy servants are ready to do whatsoever my lord is the king shall appoint. And the king went forth and all his household after him. And the king left 10 women, which were concubines, to keep the house. Not sure I can correlate that. And the king went forth, and all the people after him, and tarried in the place that was afar off. And all his servants passed on beside him, and all the Cherethites, and all the Pelethites, and all the Gittites, 600 men, which came after him from Gath, passed on before the king. Now, see, right there. So there was 600 men, warriors, with Solomon, or with David, and above it said Absalom had 200 men. So David could have just went and crushed him, but right? It says At first he had 50 men. Absalom, king, so 40 years. Oh wait, okay. Absalom was building up his little deep state coup for 40 years, and then he went to Jeshurun, and then he basically took over Jeshurun because he announced himself king of Israel in Jeshurun. Went 200 men out of Jerusalem. Huh. No, and Absalom. No, this is after the fact. And Absalom went 200 men out of Jerusalem that were called. Oh, but they went in their simplicity and didn't know what was happening. Knew not anything. But the conspiracy increased continually, it says. Okay. I don't know. It's a good question. All right. My assumption is that David just did not want to fight his own son, right? He did not want to kill. As you can see, when Absalom ended up being killed in this whole thing, she was like, oh yeah, Esther and Mordecai. That wasn't Esther and Mordecai. Esther stopped a coup by turning to the king, Artaxerxes, and telling him what was happening, and then Mordecai was executed. So that wasn't bloodless, and it wasn't really a coup because they weren't trying to take Artaxerxes out of power. They were trying to take Haman, or Mordecai was just trying to kill Haman. He hated Haman and all the Jews. So I wouldn't think that qualifies as a coup. Adam fell that men might be, and men are that they may have joy. I'm not quite sure how that makes sense. Dragon says, hypothetically, you could argue that Seth, being the progenitor of the human race, rather than Cain, is a coup of a sort. And likewise, Eve giving Adam the fruit could vaguely be a coup. No, a coup is taking someone out of power, right? Someone who rightfully has power. A coup is supposed to be violently taking them out of power. I'm saying a bloodless coup because they were not using violence. Adam had dominion. Dominion was given to Satan as the prince of this world when Adam broke faith with God. Right? Am I right? I think I'm right. And that wasn't really a bloodless coup because it led to the sin and death of the entire human race. But that would have been Satan's coup on... That's a good point. That could have been Satan's coup against Adam, and in a real sense against God. Actually, I guess... No, because Satan never took God out of power. But God gave Adam dominion, and then Satan took that dominion. So I guess that was the very first coup. The very first coup in the Bible was Satan. And this attempted coup was also, I believe, satanic. But the price of that sin was the blood of Christ. The price of all sin was the blood of Christ. Adam never really lost dominion, though. We are still responsible for the state of the planet. So Adam just had his eyes open to sin. Except Christ himself says that Satan is the prince of the earth. Satan is the prince of the earth. It is the prince who has dominion. Right? No such thing as a bloodless coup, says George. Too many false flags supporting the coup caused many deaths. It's all part of the plan, says Gonzo the Great. Let me check what time it is. We got about 10 more minutes. You guys got any good questions relating to coups, Bible, Trump, how this all kind of reflects? It's funny. Have you guys, I know I did it a long time ago, but how many of you guys went and saw the Is Trump Solomon Reborn video I did way back in the day? I did it like, gosh, 8 months ago, something like that. Why would God give Satan dominion over earth if he seemed Adam unworthy? I don't know. Why would God give Satan? I mean, was it sort of taken from him? Did Satan take it, or did God grant it? God gave it to Adam, and then Adam fell under sin. And it seems like Satan was the author of that sin, so I don't know. I've seen Cyrus comparisons, Mike. Yeah, I made the Cyrus comparison too. Actually, in Israel, they were giving out commemorative coins that had Cyrus and Trump on the coin because it was 70 years. Yeah, it was 70 years from the fulfillment of the prophecy. Ezekiel's prophecy that Israel would become a nation again. And then it was May 14th, 1948. And then to the day later, I believe it was 70 years, May 14th, 2018. And they minted these coins that had Trump and Cyrus on the same coin. So even Israel is making that connection and that comparison between Trump and there's a lot of stuff that seems just very biblical. Like, were you guys watching when they had the opening of the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem? It just felt like I was watching something of biblical proportions, like something that will be described someday in a heavenly version or a future version of the Bible. This is going to be written in there, you know? Yeah. Woo, I got chills just right there. How weird. I'm glad I could recite the Lord's Prayer for everyone. That said, I'm not always able to catch a live stream. Glad I caught this one. Yeah, me too, Bruno. Thanks for being here. Trying to redirect us away from nonstop trumping. I can get carried away with Trump. I've backed Trump since day one. So, Beowulf, since therefore the children share in flesh and blood, he himself likewise partook of the same things, that through death he might destroy the one who has the power of death, that is the devil, and deliver all those who through fear of death were subject to lifelong slavery. Beowulf says, oh, that was Beowulf. Sorry. Dennis says, opening that embassy was huge, monumental event. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, I felt like it was biblical. Zeno said he backed Cruz. I liked Cruz as well. Honestly, I would have been happy with anyone on that stage besides Jeb Bush. But I did back Trump. I kind of backed Trump because I just had a gut feeling that no one would be able to take him down. And man, that was biblical, man. Trump getting elected. I don't think any other president would have managed what he's managed to do. And under this level of not just scrutiny, but collusion and lies and just relentless day in, day out attacks. I don't think anyone else could have stood up. Maybe Rand Paul. Maybe not, though. I don't think anyone else could have stood up and just brushed it off like Trump did. Man, he's like, meh, whatever. I got things to do. A non-politician was and is still needed. I agree, Mousy Mouse. I agree. David Peterson says, mostly agreed. Jeb was terrible. Wasn't a fan of Rubio or Christie. You know what's funny is right when the whole cycle started last time around, they were saying Jeb Bush and they were saying Hillary Clinton. And I did a little meme that just big bold letters, no. And in one frame was Hillary Clinton and in one frame was Jeb Bush, right? And I said, no more dynasties. And I posted it up on Facebook. And my friend, who's just a far, far left wing nut, he was like, I couldn't agree with you more. This is enough. There's no more. I would never vote. And then by the time he was like so pro Hillary. And I'm like, you guys have no constancy, you know? It's just like, I wouldn't have voted for Bush. I don't think I could have. I would have voted Libertarian. I would have voted for that pothead moron Johnson over Jeb Bush. Boy, this just all, I ask for biblical questions and this all just goes right back into politics. I know it's my fault. It's my fault. It's so easy to get sucked into politics. Let's see if I could find a way to summarize this. Let me see. Let's get to where let's see. Ahithophel gives counsel to Absalom. He's David's spy. It's good to have a spy in the enemy camp. Boy, he was king for quite a few. Let me look it up. Absalom. 18. All right, chapter 18. Where is it? Where is it? For the battle was there scattered over the face of all the country, and the wood devoured more people that day than the sword devoured. Wow, the trees killed people. And Absalom met the servants of David, and Absalom rode upon a mule, and the mule went under a thick bough of a great oak, and his head caught hold of the oak, and he was taken up between the heaven and the earth, and the mule that was under him went away. And a certain man saw it and told Joab and said, Behold, I saw Absalom hanging in an oak. And Joab said to the man that told him, and behold, thou sawest him, and didst not smite him there to the ground, and I would have given thee 10 shekels of silver and a girdle. Ooh, nice girdle, fancy girdles. And the man said unto Joab, though I should receive 1,000 shekels of silver in mine hand, yet would I not put forth mine hand against the king's son. For in our hearing the king charged thee and Abishai and Ittai, saying, beware that none touch the young man Absalom. Otherwise I should have wrought falsehood against my own life. For there is no matter hid from the king. And if thou myself wouldest have set thyself against, if thou thyself would have set thyself against me. Then said Joab, I may not tarry thus with thee. And he took 3 darts in his hand and thrust them through the heart of Absalom, while he was yet alive in the midst of the oak. Then, and 10 young men that bare Joab's armor compassed about and smote Absalom and slew him. That's some Ides of March Caesar level slaying right there. Yeah, that's what happens to traitors. That's what should happen to traitors. Not in this day and age. There's no death penalty for traitors this day and age, even though I think it's probably warranted. It's probably the appropriate punishment. It's still, we don't do that sort of stuff anymore. No. We let them become living martyrs. And I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be an interesting next few years. But it will have biblical levels of repercussions. So we should all be buying stock in tar and feathers. No. But anyways, thank you all for being here. This has been Cross Examinations. I have been your host, Mike S. Miller. Please do come back. We do this every day except Sunday. Like, subscribe, share this out to your friends and family who you think might enjoy this type of a program. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Go check out themegcomic.com if you have not already. If you want to support this channel, I do not accept donations, but I do accept you in supporting my business. So themegcomic.com. I do have free previews up there now. I did fix the Meg link, so you should be able to download that too. So 3 full issues you can read for free. And if you like those comics, then please do support them. Anyways, thank you all for being here, and good day. God bless.